Hello there and welcome back to the BMW blog channel, and welcome to another review of a brand new BMW, and in this case the BMW 128ti, a new sporty model introduced by BMW end of last year, among all the other 1 Series we have seen so far, and a model that is positioned underneath the M135i M Performance model and the top of the range model in the current F40 1 Series. As you can see, in the basis a 1 Series, but there are a few changes that I would like to touch on, which are different with regards to the M135i. First of all, it carries the TI badge, and you were thinking, TI badge? I've seen that before, I've heard it before, what is it all about? Now, since the 1960s, we've seen the TI badge being used on models like the 1800 Ti, the 2002 Ti, and then the late 1990s we had the 323 Ti Compact and the 325 Ti Compact, but since then they have not really used that badge. And to explain the badge a little bit more, it stands for Turismo Internazionale. Yeah, and I understand that's not German, that's totally Italian, and it's mainly used for more sporty variants of an already existing model. And in the case of the 128, that's slightly different. It's not really the case, I would say, but let me explain more about that. In the basis, it is the M135i, you know, similar engine, similar gearbox used, no manual available. Only this car is only front wheel drive, so it only has they deleted the rear wheel drive, so to speak. So the all-wheel drive setup of the M135i has been removed for this particular model. That makes it 80 kilos lighter. It's still 1445 kilos in din weight, which is still not particularly light. And also they decreased or lowered the performance, so to speak. So we're now talking 265 horsepower and 400 newton meters, and that is 50 newton meters lower than the M135i and roughly 40 horsepower less. So as you can see, there is a difference, but there are a few more other changes I will touch on later in this video. But let's first have a closer look at the interior, exterior design and some of the technical changes with regards to this particular model. And then you get a good feeling of how BMW positions this model and how it positions itself against models like the Hyundai i30N, the new Mark 8 Golf GTI, or maybe an A35 from Mercedes, or the Megane from Renault Sport. So in this space there are many different options you can choose from, and the question is the 128ti an option you should look at? So let's dive into the details, and then by the end of this video we'll have a clear insight into what we're looking at. So first, let's have a look at the exterior package and run you through quite quickly to all the little details that you can see on the exterior and which you can opt for. First of all, you see the Shadowline trim with the gloss black details such as the mirror caps and the front kidney grille. Then we have the individual lights, which are Shadowline, they're darker, so to speak. It's only for the headlights, and it's an optional option you can opt for from the option list, of course. Then next to that we have all these little red details. So you'll have it here on the front, then you have red calipers from the Sport brake kit, which is the same brake kit you will find on the M135i or on the GP3. The Mini GP3 has the same brake kit. And then on all four corners you will find the 18-inch Y-spoke 553 B-color light alloy wheels. And then more red details as the side skirts and the little TI logo here. You can take them off, you can ask the dealer not to put them on the car when you order the car. Also you have a 128ti logo on the back, gloss rear diffuser, gloss tailpipes in black, and then some little red detail here as well. So it's, you have a package that shows that you're driving something special, but it's not that flashy, it's not in your face. Only people that really know what they're looking at know what you're driving, especially if you would remove the 128ti badge on the rear. So let's have a look on the inside of the 128ti. As you can see, mostly normal 1 Series. It's not much different from the other 1 Series models. Of course you have the M Sport seats, and there are some little details, such as the piping for the floor mats is red, you know, the stitching in the door is red, on the dashboard it's red, the lighting behind the dashboard strips can be set to red and is standard set to red, but you can also change to another color. And then here on the armrest you have some red stitching, and you have this TI logo embroidered on the top. But that's about it, you know, there's not much else. There's a nice steering wheel, and you know, you can add your additional options, such as steering wheel heating or the heating for the seats, you know, the M Sport seats you can add. So there's a nice series of options you can choose, but there's not much else or different than we've seen before from other models in the 1 Series lineup or from the 135i. So yeah, this is about it. This is the interior. It's size-wise it's the same as any other 1 Series, so nothing really new, and an interesting package and setup which you might have seen before. Now that we've looked on the inside and discussed the exterior design, which in my opinion are not the most important parts of this particular car, let's touch on what's under the bonnet. So I'm going to open the bonnet and touch on the engine, the drivetrain, the handling, steering, all kinds of aspects like that. Always pull twice with the BMW and the Mini now as well, and then you don't have any hatch or connection here anymore, so you can open the bonnet quite easily. You'll see there is the 2-liter engine, which produces 265 horsepower and 400 Newton meters. That is about 40 horsepower and 50 Newton meters less than the GP3 and the M135i. And you feel that difference in performance is definitely there. You miss that top end performance which you have in those two other cars. Also, all the power is now going to the front wheels, similar to the GP3, but the 4-wheel drive system is now gone from the 135i. And that saves, as I said, 80 kilos. The car still weighs 1445 kilos, which is pretty heavy. Still, I think it could have shed a little bit more weight or have a little bit more performance, and that's felt while you're driving. Additionally, what can you share more? The performance time also impacted by the lower performance. 6.1 seconds to 100. Top speed is limited to 155 miles per hour, 250 kilometers an hour, which is normal for a BMW. And there's no performance pack or anything that you can raise it. Additional things with regards to the setup of the car. Of course, we saw the sport braking system with the red painted calipers. We've seen that braking system before. It's nothing really new. It behaves quite similar to what we've seen on the GP3 and on the M135i. Interestingly, the sport suspension has been tuned and lowered by 10 millimeters in comparison to the M135i, which is an interesting decision that BMW made. There are firmer anti-roll bars and other anti-roll bar mounts as well, so that's a change as well, so that the handling will differ with regards to the M135i. The springs are 8% stiffer, and also the shock absorbers are stiffer. Next to that, as standard, you get a limited slip diff from Torsen, and the diff is 5% slower, and also the steering ratio has been made slower. So the setup of the car and the way it handles is, let's call it, less mature. It's more joyful, more playful. It's a more playful car, more sporty, more, less serious than the M135i, which is a bit of a, sometimes I felt that the car has lost a little bit of his true BMW character, because it just became too serious and too, a little bit lost between the four-wheel drive, the amount of performance, and the way it put the power to the street. So all in all, I prefer this package more, then I prefer the M135i. So let me discuss in more detail with you why I think this is the best 1 Series in the current lineup. As the final part of this video, I want to really touch on my experience with this car and how it's positioned among, its family members in the 1 Series lineup, but also other models in the market today. And let's first close the bonnet and then touch on some of these aspects. First of all, the 128ti is positioned roughly in the middle of the lineup of 1 Series models. As I said before, just underneath the 135i, and a car that I glued with much better than I did with the 135i. I just don't like the 4-wheel drive setup of that car, maybe the heavy nature of it. It's so difficult, it feels so cumbersome, I don't know. I've just never really glued with the M135i. But I do with the 128ti because it's much more simple, much more fun. The way it's being set up and everything, the little changes they've done, it feels much more joyful to drive. It fits much better to the BMW nature of what a sporty car should be. So I really think it fits well to the TI brand, and it really fits well within the current lineup of BMW 1 Series. And in my opinion, it's the best 1 Series that is currently available. Is it a model that I would personally get? And there we come to something I've not touched on much, and that are the looks. Of course, we discussed the different details on the exterior, but personally I can't really glue with the looks. But that's a general thing among all the 1 Series models. I just really don't like how it looks. It's just not my kind of car. I don't like the front grille setup. I'm not 100% happy with what I see at the rear of the car. Yeah, just not my piece of cake. If I would be in the market for a car like this, personally I would look at the Hyundai i30 and I said, yes, it's not a BMW, it's not a premium model, but it's something I would look at because it's simply more sporty. It's more me. Maybe I would look at the Renault Megane as well. Other option, Ford Focus ST, maybe. But I think the best option is the A35. I know, 4-wheel drive system just makes it a lot more fun for me to drive the A35 than the 128ti. Even though I'm a big BMW fan and often I would choose a BMW over another brand. But yeah, in this case, I'm not so sure if this is the one that I would go for. Then, of course, there's the discussion and the talk. What do I think about the Golf GTI? I haven't driven the Mk8 yet. I can't comment on it. I've only read some stories, and people have said that this is more fun to drive than the Golf GTI. It's mostly a versus between this and the GTI, but in my opinion, there are other options in the market you should suggest. This is not the immediate first option I would choose, and that's not because of its driving dynamics or the fact that it's underpowered or any of those aspects. It's just because I can't necessarily live with the looks. I just not think that this is a really good looking car. But it is a good driving car, and it's a fun car to drive, and it's a fun car to enjoy. So nothing bad about its driving dynamics. I think it should have a bit more power. If it would have been really nice if it had at least up to the 306 horsepower of the other two, the GP3 and the M135i. But I can understand from the positioning point of view they haven't done that. But yeah, good package from BMW, don't get me wrong. I love the way what they've changed and how they've set it up and how they are putting it into the market. But personally, if I had a choice, it's not my kind of car that I would choose, especially because of the looks. So I would look at some of the other cars which I think look better. And in some cases, if you pay a little bit more, you also have a better package. So all in all, enjoyed the 128ti. It's now going back to BMW, and I hope that you enjoyed this particular video about it. If you have any questions, if you want to know more, just drop them in the comments below, and then I'll happily answer them for you. Anyhow, have a really nice day. I'm going to enjoy some of the sunshine and drive a little bit more in the 128ti before it leaves to BMW. And yeah, stay safe and take care, and hopefully see you soon.